The Huskies keep on rolling. Did Texas baseball just give us a mirage? And is Reese, not me, but Eddie Reese, the GOAT? All this and much more coming up on College Crossfire. I guess we'll get into it, guys. Always enthusiastic, unbelievable, hard-nosed.
Roll up the sleeves for this one.
This Dallas team was very overrated from the start, like they always are every year.
The talent there, Kevin Mack, Eric Davis, and Cronin Roach are maybe three of the most talented guys in the team.
Oh, that's an ugly shirt.
Always a pleasure having you on, guys.
Time to freak out, Reese.
Welcome into show 7 and 20 and 16, and welcome into TSTV Studios and College Crossfire. I'm your host, Reese Miller. Great cast on hand. We got a full freshman cast. All right, everybody's true freshmen, but you guys have turned into veterans. How are we doing today, Jonathan?
I'm doing all right, Reese. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, this semester you're the only one to ask me how I'm doing, so I appreciate that. So bonus points already for you. Emily Stone making her return. Emily, how are you?
Doing good. How are you? I thought I'd ask.
Excellent. Well, I already told you I'm good, but since you asked twice, that's fine. Eric, how are you doing?
I'm ready to go, Reese. Let's do it.
Ready to go. Let's get into it. I like that. Well, at least they beat the spread, right? Call it a massive improvement from getting beaten last year's Sweet 16 by 51 at the hands of the UConn Huskies. This year, only 21. While this year's group had a lot of consistent talent and was a top 6 or 7 team all year long. Exactly how far away are the Longhorns from winning a national championship? That's what Karen Aston was really brought here to do. They've improved every single season in terms of how far they've gone, but how far away are they, Jonathan?
Well, Reese, let me ask you this. How far away is Austin from UConn? It's pretty dang far. And so that's pretty much the gap between everybody, including Texas and UConn. But I think if Texas keeps recruiting at the rate which they are, Karen Aston has 2 top 10 players in the country for this next year, for this recruiting class. I think if they keep recruiting, they need to get somebody to replace Amani Boyette in the post. I think that's the only way you can really slow down a team like UConn. But if they keep recruiting and find somebody to take over Amani Boyette's post presence, they can close the gap slowly but surely and eventually compete for national championships.
I mean, 2 consecutive top 5 classes for the Horns, working on consecutive class number 3. But as you mentioned, Boyette and several other seniors leaving. What about you, Emily?
I'm going to have to agree. I mean, I think as long as UConn continues their top recruiting, I mean, they've had a top recruiting class getting top-ranked players every year. And they also have 7 eligible underclassmen. They have a redshirt they have a redshirt sophomore, and then they have 6 true underclassmen, and they're all full of talent. Some of them have the highest points per game average in their ranking. So I think that as long as they have those players and they continue to play Texas, I think Texas has a bit of a way to go to win against the Huskies. And yeah, I think Texas does really need to work on replacing their seniors. They're getting ready to lose. But yeah, I mean, Connecticut's really far, and I think that beating that team is also far off.
Eric, what say you?
You know, I actually think there's a bit of a window since Brianna Stewart is graduating and UConn's going to be a young team for the next couple of years. I think there's a bit of a window for some of the rest of the teams to get closer. And definitely, I don't think UConn's going to be undefeated these next 2 seasons like they have been the past 2. But for Texas, before we can even start thinking about UConn, Gino Auriemma's UConn, we got to talk about Kim Mulkey's Baylor Bears, who they haven't managed to beat once this season. And had they
14 straight losses.
Yeah, and had they done so, had they gotten 1 win, Texas would have almost certainly been a 1 seed and not had to face UConn until at earliest the Final Four. So before we start talking about whether UConn's Texas' biggest challenge, we got to see how Texas is going to do in Waco.
Yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point that UConn is going to be a little bit younger. And you look around women's college basketball, there's a 4 seed, there's a 7 seed, so maybe the parity is starting to get there. There's still UConn, but maybe there's a bit of a window for other teams to climb in there. You're all going to start off with a point. I think the Horns are a little bit ways away, but maybe creeping up and gaining traction here as we move along, guys. Just when you think the Texas baseball team has turned it around, winning 3 straight and beating a top 5 team in the TCU Horned Frogs, the first 2 games of last weekend before falling in the 3rd. Then last night, a 4-2 gut-wrenching loss in the 9th to the Cardinals from Beaumont. Guys, what's with this team and how does it stay consistent? Was that TCU series just a little bit of a mirage? Emily, what do you think?
I think honestly that the team needs to not overcompete. They need to manage to stay in their zone, coming into high pressure moments, going into plays with tough momentum, especially if it's 2-2 bottom of the 9th and every batter needs to take a hit. Even head coach Augie said that they really need to work on staying in their zone when they get down to playing against lower ranked teams, and when they play against a higher ranked team like TCU, they really focus on staying focused throughout the entirety of the game. So I think that in order to consistently win games, they need to focus on making each team like their top ranked team and focus on keeping their momentum through their entirety of the game.
Yeah, it seems like errors or wrong plays at the exact right team for the opposite side has really plagued the Horns. Eric, what do you think?
Well, there's been a curse that's kind of permeated all three of Texas's major men's sports, which is playing to the competition, upsetting teams that people gave them no chance to beat, and then getting beaten by the teams that everybody would have picked them to beat. And that's just not okay for a team that's going to want to compete in all of these top sports. And what bothered me the most is I got a chance to listen in on Coach Garrido's press conference last night, and he said that he can't be too upset with the loss to Lamar because Lamar played so well. And you might be able to buy that if it's a competitive team like an Oklahoma State or a TCU or an Oklahoma, but against a team in the Southland Conference, I can't buy that you're going to pass up a win because you just weren't as good as that team last night. That's just not acceptable.
Okay. So upset with Augie a little bit there over complacency, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how can you tell reporters that you think your team is just had a, we're outplayed by a team and they can't take anything more away from that?
Okay. Jonathan, what do you think here?
I think that, honestly, it comes down to your starting pitchers. Your starting pitchers this year just haven't been very good. I mean, the starting pitchers are not going very deep into games. They're relying too much on the bullpen, which taxes that bullpen. And we've seen, not only in college, but in the professionals, what happens when you rely on your bullpen too much. It causes breakdowns, it causes meltdowns. And so the starters, outside of Ty Colberth, really have not done a good job of going deep into games and pitching effectively. I mean, sure, you have some pitchers that may pitch 5 or 6 innings or so, but half of the time they're walking 4 or 5 batters.
Yeah.
And that's not going to win you any games in the Big 12. The Big 12 is too competitive. You cannot be walking so many batters. You have to be competent with your starting pitchers.
Yeah, Connor Mays gave up the game in the ninth, the guy who was secure to that back in the bullpen. I think you're onto something with the pitching, defense as well. That's what's supposed to win you championships. Those have been actually the worst 2 parts of the Texas baseball team. Kind of unlike every other year. Real quick before we move on, Augie's last season, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't like saying it, but yes.
I didn't think so before last night. Now I'm convinced.
Oh, 1 game. Get out of here.
No, it's an attitude, though. It's not a game, it's an attitude.
Just the way that this whole season has gone so far, though.
All right. We will see, guys. Moving on. Jonathan's getting that point. Men's swimming and diving has won its 12th. That's right, 12th title under legendary head coach Eddie Reese. But where does he rank all time among the great coaches at Texas? Darrell K. Royal, throw Mac Brown in there if you want, maybe Rick Barnes, and obviously Augie Garrido. But where does he rank? Men's swimming and diving sort of gets grazed over on the 40 acres, but this is important stuff to talk about. Eric, where does he rank?
I'm definitely one of those people guilty of grazing them over, and I'm going to let these guys, laud over how much they love our swimming and diving team. But for me, individual sports just don't do it as far as bringing out my school pride. I mean,
we're not talking about your school pride. We're talking about where Eddie Reese ranks up against the great coaches.
And part of swimming being an individual sport is that it's a player sport. Darrell K. Royal is a coach of a team sport. In football, is so much is done between the microphone, between the coach and player. And players obviously have their say on the field, but coaches have a much bigger impact in team sports than doing in individual sports.
No.
And Emily, you might disagree with me on that, but that's where I stand on it.
Okay, all right, let's knock out Jonathan. Where do you stand on this Eddie Reese debate?
I have Eddie Reese as probably the 2nd greatest coach in Texas history. Now, I have a Mount Rushmore of coaches. I have Darrell Royal is number 1, then Eddie Reese, Augie Garrido, and then Dana X. Bible for Texas. I believe they're all great coaches in their own right, but I believe that Darrell Royal, he instituted something that really brought Texas to prominence. Now, Eddie Reese, yes, this is an individual sport, but you still got to be able to bring out the best in these athletes to continue competing and to break records on what seems like a daily basis. And Eddie Reese has done that for however many years he's been here.
Most titles for a coach ever now. Emily, let Eric have it. What do we got?
Okay, so I disagree on that coaching a team sport is more difficult. No, because coaching an individual sport, the coach has to have a personal relationship with each of his athletes. And Eddie Reese has done a great job with that. He recruits not just their talent and their technique and their ability and their potential, he recruits their character and how well he can work with them. He's had a top-ranked recruiting class the last 5 years, and he has been one of the only teams to light up the tower very recently. And so, and he has the most national championships, I'm pretty sure, out of any Texas coach. He has 12 out of Texas's 16 national championships in swimming. And he also produces Olympians. He was the USA head swim coach at the 92, 04, and 08 games. And he's producing, I think, he's producing 3 swimmers and a diver that are going out for Rio this summer. So I think that he is ranked very highly amongst the coaches at UT. He knows how to recruit, he knows how to coach, and he knows how to get those players and the swimmers motivated and give them momentum.
Best coach, Texas history?
I'm still going to have to say Darrell Royal for just building up the legacy of Texas football, but Eddie Reese is a close second now.
All right, you convinced me with the personal relationships. I know this is a personal interview, so you're getting the point going to break. 1 round down, 2 to go. Up next, we look ahead to Houston this weekend. Will Buddy be a bust? And bold predictions coming your way next on Crossfire. Thanks for sticking with us here on College Crossfire. Let's take a quick look at our scoreboard. We've got Jonathan Polasek with 2, Emily Stone rocking the deuce as well. Eric Goodman's got 1, but we've got plenty of room to go, guys. Let's go and get into round 2. The Final 4 is set. Villanova plays OU, and Syracuse meets North Carolina. It's prediction time, guys. Overall, when you look at Monday night when the final buzzer sounds, who cuts down the nets and why? Jonathan, we start with you.
Well, I'm going to have to go with, it's going to be UNC against OU, and I think UNC...
Only as it should be.
Yes, and then UNC is going to take out OU, which I will be particularly happy about. UNC, they've got Bryce Johnson, who's been a monster all season long and in the postseason, double-double machine. You can't stop him. Oklahoma's front line isn't strong enough to contain him. And then Marcus Page, he's been relatively hot over the course of the tournament, so I think that he'll produce enough to help UNC overcome whatever monstrous output Buddy Hield puts up for OU.
Okay, I like it. Emily, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with his Final 4 predictions. I do think UNC and OU are going to take the victories. They've both previously beaten their rivals this past season, but I honestly think that OU could put up a fight in the finals against UNC. I think that they have just come so far, and they're going to have great momentum going in, and Buddy Hield has just done a great job leading this team. And I think it's going to come down to the last 2 minutes of the game, who has the ball, whose defense is on top, and who's really focused on cutting down the final net.
Now, Emily, I love your analysis on what it could be, but I need a winner here. Who wins?
Oh, OU.
OU. Okay, you say OU.
Say OU.
Okay, Oklahoma, I like it. Eric, what do you think?
I'm all on the Wildcats. I think
Okay, upset.
I'm a Big East guy, and honestly, what convinced for me was that they gritted out a win against Kansas, who was the consensus favorite. We all thought was going to just roll to a national championship. They gritted out and shot out a win against Kansas, and I don't think OU is at Kansas's level. So by that logic, I think they're going to be able to grit out a win against Oklahoma. Buddy Hield still might have an incredible game, but we saw here in Austin that he can do that, and OU can still fall in those games. And then I just think Villanova is also going to take care of whoever comes out of the Syracuse-UNC game. I think it's their year with their senior squad.
I like the Villanova pick. I do, because I picked them to get upset in the second round, showing just how much
Per usual.
I know.
Per usual.
Right, because I don't trust them. But this year, I think there's a little something different, so you're getting the point, guys. Sticking with the Oklahoma Sooners, with all the talk about Buddy Hield being the best player in college basketball, there are also talks about if his game can transition over to the NBA. Many players who have been studs in the NCAA have been duds in the NBA. Adam Morrison, Jimmer Fredette, John Shire come to mind. Guys, it seems like NBA guys fall in love with players in the tournament, draft them a little bit higher, then they don't show out. So is Buddy Hield one of those guys that you think will transition over to the NBA well, or is he another guy who's just going to be all right? Emily?
I think that Buddy Hield will go into the NBA. I do not think that he will be one of the greats. I do not think he'll be able to compare to LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal. But I do think he'll go in. He climbed from being ranked 86th nationally, which of course is not terrible, but he climbed to being the best player in college basketball. And I think that he's not going to stop pushing himself as soon as he's drafted into the NBA. And I think that he would be good with just like in a team of players, like having a group. Kind of like you look at Golden State Splash Brothers. You look at Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, but Draymond Green, you wouldn't say is the best player without his 2 people behind him. So I think that Buddy Hield will be able to come in with 2 people supporting him from behind and really go into the
So
game.
you think he
and do
could be
well.
the best player on an NBA team?
No, I think that he'll need a squad. He'll need to find a squad.
Okay. All right. I like that, Eric. What do you think?
I think he can, and I think he can be the best player to come out of this draft because he has a talent that Ben Simmons doesn't have. Granted, Ben Simmons, has 3 years to catch up to Buddy Hield, but Buddy Hield can get his own shot whenever he wants, and that's a talent that you're hard pressed to find it in the NBA these days. And
Today's NBA, his game works.
I'd have to agree, and I think a team's going to draft him high as they should. I mean, there's nothing that points to you that he would have a drop off the likes of Jimmer Fredette or even Christian Laettner is a name that comes to mind. There's some scary names on there, but I think Buddy Hield's going to do just fine.
Yeah, the last 16 NCAA tournament players of the year, only 5 of them have gone on to be all-stars, and Laettner's really the maybe best one out of that group. Jonathan, what do you think?
I'm going to have to say that he's not going to be the best player on any team, but he's also not going to be a bust. I mean, he's just too good for that. I think what you're going to see is Buddy Hield, he's going to be kind of like a super six man, like James Harden, OKC version. He's that guy who can come off the bench and put up 10, 12, 14 points in a matter of minutes and just provide a spark for any team that he plays on. Now, granted, he's got to be with a decent team. He can't be with the 76ers or the Lakers, honestly. I mean, this is not going to
Or
work.
the Rockets.
Hush. I don't need that.
Hey, playoff team right now.
But I think he's too good. He like they've said, he can create his own shot. He can do stuff for himself that some players can't.
I think six man's maybe the perfect comparison for him, or maybe third, fourth best
I
player.
think you're selling him short there.
I don't think so.
I mean,
6 man. No.
He's also
He's
so
not
much
a great
older.
ball handler. He's not a great passer. I mean, he can shoot and he can create his own shot. But everybody falls in love with the guy who's the star in the tournament. But if you look at the body of work, he's
been the star of the season, though. He's not just turned it on in the tournament.
yeah. But I think
That was a tactical change
Again.
by OU that caused him to be this star this year.
all right. Well, I'm with you here just because I think he's a six man. I think another thing that plays into him, he's probably going to get drafted 6th, maybe 7th. So he's going to get on a decent team, maybe the Suns. Put him on that team, all of a sudden, you're talking about something here. So you're getting the point moving on. MLB opening night is this Sunday. Baseball is back in full swing on Monday. So many storylines and hopes for your teams, but we need a bold prediction for the 2016 season. Eric, starting with you.
I'm all in on the Miami Marlins. Now, I'm not going to pick them. Hear me out. I can't pick them to beat my Mets for the NL East. I can't.
Okay.
But I'm predicting them to get a wild card. You look
Over
at
the Nationals.
over the Nationals, and I'll tell you why. Well, I can't tell you why the Nationals won't do it. The Nationals just have a knack of just not winning enough
Right.
games every season.
Yeah.
But D. Gordon, the most electrifying player in baseball, he's stealing more bases and hitting at a higher average than anybody else. And Carlos Stanton, if he stays healthy, can hit 80 home runs. He's capable of that. And then Jose Fernandez, who didn't play much last year, is going to be content for an NL Cy Young. And you put those three together, and a new manager in Don Mattingly, and I think they have a real shot.
That's interesting. It's an interesting pick, but do you really think they have that complete a roster?
Yeah, I mean, they have a young roster, and I think if
Yeah.
enough guys perform as they're projected to, I think they got a shot.
Tough division. Tough division.
Is it though? I mean, Braves and Phillies.
Top heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Top heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Jonathan, what do you think?
I'm going to have to say that the Royals, as much as I dislike them, I'm saying, actually, I hate them. They're not making the playoffs this year.
Okay.
They're not. I think they rely too much on that bullpen. The starters, that's kind of like what Texas has, the problem with that Texas has. They don't rely on their starters enough. They don't go deep into games, and that's eventually going to come back to bite them in the butt. And so those relievers are getting taxed. Yes, you have your Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis throwing 100 miles an hour, blowing by everybody, but still at some point they're just going to crack. And yes, they're going to hit and hit and hit until they win, but I don't think that they'll have enough in the pen this year.
Yeah, watch out for the Indians in that division. Some of my underrated picks. Emily, what do you think?
Wow, I'm going to go for the Cubs going all the way. They have a very
Bold.
Yeah.
We asked for a bold prediction, not a lukewarm / mildly cold prediction. The Cubs are everybody's
cold
favorite.
rhymes with bold, so it's like pretty close. It's off by 1 letter. But they have a very enviable roster, and it's fully stacked, except for they have the pitcher situation, but I think they'll figure that out. So Madden will be able to mix and match players and get them to play, and I know by your face that you just look so disappointed.
I mean, they're everybody's pick. Vegas has them as the odds-on favorite to win the World Series. I think they have a stacked roster and they have a very good chance.
Yeah.
It's not a bold prediction.
To her credit, though, picking the Cubs to win the World Series in any year is
I mean, they
pretty
haven't
bold.
won since, what, 1908?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's bold that they're going to win.
Astros are going to win, so it doesn't matter.
Not bold. Not bold. Astros aren't winning either. You disqualify yourself at the point. Eric's still on one left. Guys, we're done with round 2, but we light up rapid fire next. You will not want to miss it.
Hit the oh crap button.
Welcome back. It's rapid fire time. Let's take a quick look at our College Crossfire scoreboard. We got Jonathan Polasek. He's the leader in the clubhouse with 3. Emily Stone has 2. Is that right? 2. And Eric is with 2-point round last time.
I believe so.
You got the 3. All right, excellent. Let's get into it, guys. Before we do, just so everybody knows, again, a reminder, points are now doubled. Honest question, you guys jump in at any time. Baseball season is officially upon us, which means it's time for all the teams to unveil their crazy new ballpark creations. We've seen pizzas as buns on burgers. We've seen the everything dogs, 2-foot-long hot dogs. The Rangers just came out with a buffalo-filled donut that has chicken in the middle. They've got hot Cheetos dogs, guys. So naturally, it is time for you to think of a crazy ballpark food item that you could sell.
First off, are they just trying to give us heart attacks? They're trying to kill us all.
Absolutely.
They're trying to kill us all.
This is modern day America for sure.
So you might have to do this one at some place like Tropicana Field or the Rogers Center or Dome Place where they've got rafters. But I'm all in on parachuting Tiff's treats into the crowd. I think that's the greatest thing.
That's pretty good.
That,
Pretty cool.
that UT Sports does.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we spread that around a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with pizza tacos. I mean, it's
That's awesome.
two things that Americans love: pizzas, tacos. You can't go wrong. You combine them, it's heaven right there.
I've never heard of that, but that's awesome. Like you curl the pizza.
Oh
up
yeah,
as
your pizza is your taco shell, and then you put in the beef, the lettuce, the
Can
tomato,
you
the
patent that,
cheese.
please?
That's awesome.
I should,
That's awesome.
I
I'll
should.
eat one right now. That's great. Yep, that's awesome.
Mine's not as good as that, but like a chili stuffed hot dog. So like the chili's in the hot dog, and then there's like, you can put toppings on it, like Fritos. That'd be really cool.
Okay.
And like cheese and yeah. Because
All
like
right.
hot dogs are traditional baseball food. Like when I was little, I would
Yeah,
always go to the
I
ballpark
feel like
and get
that's
a
just
hot
kind of
dog.
like the chili dog, though. Like,
Yeah, but like it's like not on top, it's like inside,
Slightly.
so it's a surprise.
Slightly.
yeah,
Stuff it
but
with
it's the
nacho
same thing.
cheese.
Like it's still the same combination of flavors hitting your mouth. Like
yeah,
it's
but
not
it's
like
so awesome.
awesome. Might be strong. I'll say good, but Jonathan's getting the point. Pizza tacos, you can't. I love Tips treats.
Tips for
but
dessert. Tips for dessert.
I could be
do
down
that.
for tips for dessert, but Jonathan's
Do they
getting
have
2
tips
points,
everywhere?
guys.
They have tips everywhere, though.
This past week, a kid ran all the way down the floor from way up in the rafters to run out onto the floor, actually, to give Carmelo a hug before the end of the game, guys. So the question asked, when you were a kid, who is the athlete that you would have, they got thrown out, by the way, and who's the one athlete you'd run out, jump out onto the field to just go give a hug?
Certainly wouldn't be Melo for me.
No?
So it would not be Melo.
No, not as a Knicks fan?
No, definitely not.
Now or as a kid?
Eric Decker.
I say now?
Either one. Either one.
Alex Morgan.
Oh,
Alex
that's
Morgan.
pretty.
Alex Morgan.
That's
I
pretty
love
good.
her. I
Yeah,
love her.
Yeah, she's great.
I
Great.
love you, Alex.
I highly doubt Alex.
I don't
Alex
care.
heard
I
you.
don't care.
Alex heard you. That's
She heard
fine.
me in my
Alex
heart.
heard you.
She heard you from deep down.
Yes.
It can be now or as a kid. Either one.
Oh, do you want to you take it away?
Well, okay, yeah, I got one. So I went to the Deshaun Jackson punt return game. I'd love to run out and give him a hug while he's still in bounds to keep him from running that punt back.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay.
When I was little, I didn't want to hug a player. I wanted to hug Pop because he looked like he would just give really good hugs. But then you watch him on an interview and you're like, wow, you're really passive aggressive. But I like when I was little, I really wanted to go give him a hug because my dad loved him, and I was like, oh, maybe if my dad loves him, I'll love him. But now I would run out and give. I'm not gonna say it. It's a gymnast. No one cares. So.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Good. I appreciate you
I
recognizing.
take it the point for just.
I appreciate you won't get the point, but I appreciate you recognizing that there were no
What?
points there to be had. God, both good ones. I love Alex Morgan, but interfering with the game was even better. I love that. So, guys, final question of the night. Recently, Tim Tebow expressed an interest in getting involved with politics. It is an election year, which leads us to ask the question: which athlete would make the very best president or politician?
Well,
Dirk would be pretty good.
Dirk is not really eligible.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
That's true. Dirk is not eligible, actually, unfortunately.
I got a great one. Mike Tyson. I want Mike Tyson as our commander-in-chief.
I'm hearing some views. I'm hearing some cheers. Okay. Okay. We got Mike Tyson.
I'm gonna go with Tom Brady because he fits in the line of presidents who lie and cheat and scandal. I mean, he fits the presidential mold, lying and cheating and all that.
Fits the scandal, but you're getting booed. You're getting booed.
Ignore them. Ignore them. They're not important. They're not important. Listen to me.
That was mine.
We got a
You listen
call
to
in from the
me.
crowd.
He took mine.
No, I'm sorry. You got a different one?
Tony,
Shut up.
pandering. That's pandering.
What? Okay, no. Colt McCoy. I don't know.
Again.
My first one was Tony Romo,
Trying
and
to
then
play.
like it just
But
came to
again,
my
even
head.
then, like you're trying to play the home crowd, and
No, I really was gonna say Tony Romo because I'm from Dallas and I used to wear number 9, and then like
I like that.
No.
I appreciate that.
he wouldn't be a good president. He's too tall.
All right, Eric Goodman gets the win. Eric with Mike Tyson is president. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
What did the
Pizza
Who was
tacos are the
first
best
lobby
answer
like?
of the night,
should
though.
went for
Overall,
that.
guys.
For all.
We have time for rapid fire over there, or excuse me, FaceTime. All right, Eric Goodman, you get 30 seconds of FaceTime.
I wish I could pull a Joe Morris and just present my face.
Please don't
But,
do anything
What I'll
he
do
does.
is I'll just wish a tremendous weekend to those of us that are heading to the Final Four. I'm unfortunately not lucky enough to be one of them. But if you're going to Houston, hopefully more than once in a lifetime. But you never know. So, Reese, I don't know if you want to.
That's all you get.
Are you down there?
I wish. I will not be, but
Okay,
it was
well,
certainly fun.
well.
I will be watching on my television, so it should be fun, guys. Eric Goodman is the winner. That will do it for show 7 and 20 and 16. Check us out on Twitter at CollegeXFire. Keep up with the latest Longhorn sports news with at College Press Box. Their shows airs Monday nights as well. Special thanks to everyone in studio. Master Control, Jonathan Polasek, Emily Stone, Eric Goodman is your winner. Special thanks to you. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Reese. Have an awesome night.